Today we'll be talking about how to take a manual blood pressure. Manual blood pressures are preferred by providers because they are more accurate than an automated cuff. A more accurate reading reads better knowledge on, say, how your high blood pressure is doing. But in order to take a manual blood pressure, there are 3 things you need to be made aware of. And it's what to listen for, how to place the cuff and the stethoscope, and then how to inflate and deflate the cuff. Number 1 is what to listen for. There is a specific sound that you need to be made aware of, and it's called a Karkaroff sound. This sound is characterized by a whooshing noise, and what is actually happening is due to the high pressure of the cuff, it actually collapses the artery, and so the blood then backs up essentially and causes pressure. So when you release the air from the cuff, the artery will reopen again, and the blood will come through, and it'll actually hit the artery wall, and that's a Karkaroff sound. That's the sound you hear. So when you hear this sound for the first time, that is your systolic or your top number. That is how hard your blood is hitting the artery wall. Then the last time you hear that sound is called the diastolic number, or the bottom number of your blood pressure. So when you're placing the cuff, there is a certain way to place it so you're not going to harm yourself or get an inaccurate reading. The blood pressure cuff will look like this, and it has Velcro. There is actually a little symbol, it is an arrow with the word artery above it, and where you're going to place this is on the inner portion of your upper arm. You can also take it on the lower bottom portion of your arm as well. But you're going to place it above the brachial artery, which is right above your elbow, and you're going to place it on the inner portion of your arm. Then your stethoscope will go right underneath it. You'll just slip it right underneath where it says artery. When you secure this cuff to the Velcro, the good rule of thumb is if you can slip 2 fingers underneath in between the arm and the cuff, then it is tight enough, and it is not going to hurt the patient. So after you've properly placed your cuff, you're going to then take your bulb and your meter, and you're going to turn the little dial all the way to the right, and that's going to make sure that the air it's going to shut off the air. So you're then going to inflate the cuff to about 180, and after you hit 180, you're going to slowly turn your dial to the left to slowly release the air. Remembering when you first hear that Karkaroff noise, that's going to be your systolic number. That's going to be the top number of your blood pressure. And then you're going to keep slowly releasing the air until you can no longer hear that sound. And the moment you can no longer hear that sound, that's going to be your diastolic number, or your bottom number. Once you hit this point, you can then go ahead and fully open the valve so all the air goes out, so you're no longer squeezing the life out of the patient's arm. So now that you know how to take a blood pressure, you need to practice. That's the most important thing, is practice, because it will be hard to coordinate listening for the sound and actually seeing the numbers on the dial. But once you do that, it's going to be a more accurate reading for you and for your health.